Sheriff Howard Richard Sills is the Putnam County Sheriff seated in Eatonton, Georgia for about 20 years now. This is a man who openly admitted that he has strong racist ties. In a speech he gave at a church in Eatonton sometime around the late 90s, early 2000s, he admitted that he was raised among people who thought Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an evil man. Now, Dr. King, a Christian minister who lived the principles of Jesus Christ as taught in Christianity, in word and in action. There was only one group of people who thought Dr. King, the greatest civil rights leader of our time, was an evil man. Those people are racists. During the time of the battle with Nuwaupians, Sheriff Sills showed extreme bias.
The zoning problem started for Nuwaupians really at the end of 1998. And end of 1998 is when we had our second annual Halloween party in our social club, Reminiscences. Because it had been built in it had finished built in fall of 1997, so by 1998 we had our second Halloween party, and then sometime shortly after that the building had gotten cited for zoning violations. The problem with that is the building had already been up and running for over a year when they originally came back and said, well, we didn't have a certificate of occupancy, which is true by law, by code. You're supposed to have a certificate of occupancy. But by code, the next step would be for the owners to, contract a proper contractor, which they did, which was me, as a Nuwaupu general contractor, was the name of my company at the time, to go back and file the necessary paperwork for the certificate of occupancy, which we did. They used that particular building to go and do an inspection of the land, and they looked at other building projects, and there may have been one or two building code violations, and they utilized that as a reason to shut down all the buildings on the land. That was an injunction that was filed, and the first injunction filed in 1999. The actual case was 99 CV 1-1, where it was an injunction placed against all of the buildings on the land, where they literally had all the buildings shut down on the land. The sheriff, Howard Richard Sills, come out and do the building inspections. And we're like, he's not an inspector. Why is he doing the building inspections? Okay. Then he would send the building inspector to come out with him. You don't know anything about building inspections. Why are you even here? I've never seen that before in my life, where a law enforcement official would take the time to stop and do building inspections. No, that was just their excuse and their reason to be able to come up on the land and for him to be able to look around and search the whole property.
With no factual information, he alleged that Nuwaupians were stockpiling weapons, a claim that turned out to be absolutely false. Yet, after the arrest of Dr. Malachi Z. York, he claimed to have received an anonymous letter in 1998 stating that children were being molested by Dr. York. This mysterious letter was never produced. There was no mention of any allegation of molestation prior to Dr. York's false incarceration. Sheriff Sills utilized the media to spread propaganda against Dr. York and the Nuwaupians. He used reporter Rob Peacher, who worked for the Macon Telegraph, the Eatonton Messenger, and the Lake Oconee News. Rob Peacher made a living off writing negative, biased articles about Nuwaupians. Sheriff Sills' inside man to the media never mentioned molestation prior to the arrest of Dr. York. Sheriff Sills has a past that is real sketchy. In 1998, he went through a nasty divorce, so nasty that the transcripts for this proceeding, which are usually public record, were sealed. Now, divorce proceedings are usually not sealed unless allegations in the proceedings are possibly criminal in nature, or the information revealed are so damaging it would make it difficult for a public servant like Sills to do his job. It is a well-known rumor that Sills was very abusive. One allegation is that he beat his wife with a baseball bat, breaking her jaw. A crime, if true, which would constitute the felony charge of aggravated battery. It is also rumored that Sills had something to do with the death of Michael Flynn. Now, Michael Flynn was the man his ex-wife is rumored to have had an affair with. Michael was found dead in an area of Eatonton called the Strip. So all the bias led to the biggest raid in United States history and a case against Dr. York, which produced absolutely no tangible physical evidence, no DNA, no videos of molestation, no audio, no sheets of bodily fluids, no recorded FBI interviews of children discussing molestation, only hearsay. A case which any person would have difficulty presenting evidence against an allegation when the claims of the alleged victims were for periods of time like the summer of 1994. Now, the summer is 3 months long. Without a specific date and time, no person can produce evidence to show what they were doing every day for 90 days, especially an allegation that happened many years ago. This is the type of case that was brought against Dr. Malachi York by Sheriff Howard Richard Sills, a sheriff with racist ties and a highly rumored violent past.